This guy is a wrecking machine, and he's hungry.
All of you chumps are gonna bow. I'm gonna show you how great I am.
Money.
You're listening to The Real Estate Debate with Mr. Credit on AM 760 KFMB. If you'd like to contact Mr. Credit, visit mrcredit.org.
All right, welcome to a very special edition of The Real Estate Debate. Dale Intrican, my co-host today from Synergy One Lending. I got my red shirt on. You know what that means, Dale?
That means it's Redfin Roundtable.
It's time for the Redfin Roundtable. We do it once a month where we have the agents from redfin.com because, by the way, it's not just a great website to look at real estate online for sale or find out what homes have been selling for if you're about to list your property. But they're also a full-service real estate brokerage right here in San Diego. Let's meet the Redfin listing team, which has joined us in studio today, Dale. We have Cherie Bray here. Cherie, how you doing?
Good. How you doing?
Great. I almost called you Cherie Baker, by the way.
I keep telling Charlie, why do we have to have the same initials? It's too confusing.
You're messing up the radio hosts with your names. Great to have you here, Cherie. Thank you for your time. Really appreciate it. Of course, Charlie Baker is here. Charlie, how you doing, sir?
Really good.
All right. Great to have you back.
Yeah.
How does it feel second time on the show?
Really good. little looser this time.
A little looser this time.
Yeah, excited.
Okay. Well, maybe you can give some pointers to Rachel Gardner, who is also here for the first time today. How are you doing, Rachel?
Good.
Yeah?
Thanks
Feel
for
good?
having me.
Is
Yeah.
this your first time on the radio?
First time on the radio.
First time on the radio.
A little nervous.
A little bit nervous? Okay. Well, the good news is we won't ask you any crazy questions today. We're just going to talk about real estate and Redfin, two things you should be very well versed with, right?
Very.
Okay. Great to have you. And, of course, Dale, my co-host today from Synergy One Lending and HomeLendingSanDiego.com. Dale, I've been seeing a lot about Synergy One lately, so you guys are really out there these days.
Yeah, things are really going well.
Yeah.
Really, really well.
That's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, I could tell Rachel here that I was a lot more nervous last time I was on the show than her because I had to be in your seat.
Yeah.
So I was a lot more nervous.
Dale did fill in for me, that's for sure. I tell you, what's really interesting about, the role reversal, right? Where you are right now is very comfortable.
Yeah. I feel like way relaxed today.
The great thing about the Redfin Roundtable Day is that we get to talk about things from a totally different perspective because a lot of people don't know how Redfin works as a brokerage. People are familiar with the websites, the best website to use to search real estate. I use it every day. It's awesome. We're going to talk about a lot of those things today. We'll also talk about the benefits of selling your home with Redfin. What do you get for doing that? And some of the technology that they offer, and of course tips for sellers as we have the listing team in the studio today. Let's do a little market update. I'd love to get some information from you guys, get your feel for the market right now. Cherie, let's start with you.
Sure. So I think the market's been really strong throughout the year as far as selling property. Prices have been going up. Right now, year to date, homes sold are 3,226, which is down a little bit month over month. But year over year, it is up a little bit. So it's been a very strong start to the year, and we're expecting to see it stay strong going into the summer.
Yeah, see, and to me, that sounds like a lot. Like if we're selling 32, and this is for May, right? So
for a month,
we're selling 3,200 homes. That is a lot, man.
That's a lot.
Right?
That's a lot.
They say there's low inventory. Well, 3,200 of the inventory is being sold.
That's all of San Diego County.
That's true. It is a big county. It is a big county. So that was down a little over 5% month over month, and just barely up year over year, which is interesting because it seems like the demand is there,
but the inventory is not.
And that's the issue.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Yep. Charlie, what do you think?
Well, I'm seeing the same thing as Cherie. Interesting, some data that came out for last month. The median sales price has risen to $470,000 for San Diego County.
Okay.
So that's up almost 2% month over month. And then year over year, it's up almost 7%. So if you've waited to list and sell your home now, you've gained likely 7% from what you could have sold it for last year.
Yeah. Wow. Well, that's nice. If you're a buyer, unfortunately, on the other side of that coin, you know,
paying a little more.
Yeah, you might be paying a little more, and you might have less to choose from too. Was what's interesting there. And then, of course, you had some information on the list price too, right, Charlie?
So the list price was up 1% month over month. It's at $524,000, and then year over year, it's about 7% higher than it was this time last year.
What do you guys make of that data? Because to me, it seems like there's a lot that's being told with that. So if our median sale price, meaning the final contract price, was $470,000 for the county, and the median list price for last month for the county was $524,000. Does that not signal that people are listing their houses for more now?
Above the comps.
Yeah, and that prices are set to move higher if we maintain this inventory situation?
That's how it would seem.
Right?
Yeah, it's interesting to see how high some people are actually pushing the envelope now with their list price to see, will the market actually go this high? everyone's trying to set a new record in the neighborhood. It seems like things have slowly been moving up. So yeah, there's some really ambitious pricing out there.
There is.
Yeah.
That's fun for appraisers.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
I remember last fall telling my clients, just because the market was pretty even, pretty stagnant a little bit. And so I would recommend to list very close to where the comps are. And ever since probably about February, we do list over 2 to 3% maybe over the comps, about the average of what things will sell for. So that number kind of takes a little bit of that into consideration, I think.
Interesting.
Although it's a much bigger difference than that.
Yeah, that's a pretty big difference.
Yeah.
Dale, you're numbers guy. What do you make of that?
It's hard to say. I mean, when I look at numbers like that, I kind of figure there's probably some maybe differences that we're looking at for that price range. Maybe some square footage differences, some area differences that kind of play into that as well. So we're not just solely looking at like the model match that's going up 50,000. I think that's probably there's probably some more data that needs to be looked at within those numbers, but the trend is up, and I've seen it personally firsthand with some clients that I've had to refinance that tried to wait it out as long as they could to make sure the value was there. And we kept waiting, and we got numbers where we needed them.
Okay. So it did happen.
Yeah.
Worked out for them. Well, that's
Absolutely.
Interesting. That's something for people to really think about, too. If you've tried to refinance in the last 6-12 months and it didn't work out because of the appraised value, recheck values because they're going up. I mean, that's proof's in the pudding. Rachel, what do you think?
Well, listings were down from last month right underneath 4.5% and down 5.5% from last year.
Okay.
Inventory was down from last month 1.5%, a little more than, and down from last year a little more than 13%.
Wow.
So I think aside from the numbers, if you're realistic and you're selling, your house is still going to sell really fast and with several offers.
I was going to say 13% year over year decrease in inventory from May of this year to May of last year. 9,600 homes on the market sounds like a lot. We're talking about a 13% decrease. That seems like a pretty alarming figure. So when we hear people say low inventory, I think that is probably what they're alluding to, right, Sheree?
Yeah, and I think one thing that ties into that is going to be people that are looking to sell and buy at the same time. I think people are also holding out on selling because there isn't enough inventory to buy right now as well. So I think that's something that's affecting the market. I've seen some reports on that on a national and local trend as well.
Okay. All right. Well, Dale, let's go to the mortgage side of things then, because you alluded to appraisers earlier. Having fun with appraisals.
Yeah, when values are going up, I don't think it's ever really great when you're working with values going down or up as an appraiser. I think they'd like it to just be flat.
Right.
Because then it's always easy. You can just put the numbers in or change it. It's all gravy there.
Well, if the listing team here is telling us, hey, people are listing their houses 2-3% above the comps and they're getting the offers.
Yeah.
That kind of tells you that, well, obviously the market is there. Is there any issues with appraisals that have caused problems with the marketplace? I
mean, I personally haven't had that.
Okay.
I mean, we have with Synergy One, we have a panel of appraisers that we use, and we go through the normal AMC channels, which is your your appraisal management companies, but we have a panel that we use, so it helps us. We use qualified, reputable appraisers, and so that gives us some help with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
How are interest rates doing? I heard there was a tick up. Is it
they definitely have risen. They've definitely risen over the last month. We've seen in the beginning of the year where we've seen those values coming up in homes was a lot to do with the fact that interest rates were just so low. We expected at the end of last year rates would continue to rise, and kind of on the news that we knew the Fed was going to be talking about raising interest rates, and so the expectation where interest rates were going to go up. Well, what we've seen over the last quarter, or the first quarter of this year, was that rates were down, and because they were down, I think it spurred more interest in the housing market. People to buy. People are like, wow, I can really afford more than I thought I could. First time buyers can get in there and get more than they thought initially. But now they've picked up, so we've seen that ease back a little bit. I don't think it's going to affect overall the market itself, but it is going to, it's going to affect first time home buyers, I think, more than anybody.
Okay. Do you guys see that as being something that is part of your discussion with people who are selling? Like, hey, interest rates could cause prices to halt. Is that something that you talk about at all with sellers?
I do. That's absolutely a conversation because we are going on 3 years now of these all-time low interest rates. And I mean, it's normal. It used to be normal in the past to have interest rates be between 5 and 6%. And being down in the 3 and 4% range has given people a lot more affordability. So we keep hearing these stories that the Fed's going to increase the rates. They're going to let up on holding them down. And eventually it will happen. None of us have the crystal ball to tell us when it's going to happen. But it will change affordability for people, and it will slow down the market once it does. So I try and have that conversation.
These low rates for this long create like a new norm.
Yeah.
It creates like a new mindset for people where they're like, hey, these rates are really good. They're 3.75, 3.875. And then you go, rates move up and it's 4.25 or 4.5. And they're, what? 4.5? That's terrible. And the reality is it's not. It's awesome.
4.5%. I could never pay that.
Yeah.
No, I hear people saying things like that, just eating in restaurants. It's hilarious. Here's what we're going to do. Coming up, we'll talk about, because I really do think right now, if someone is in that situation where they are a home seller, but they don't want to sell their house because they can't find something to buy, I actually think it makes sense, this is just my opinion, to sell your house and rent for a year or two.
Something.
Do a rent back.
I really, really do think it makes sense right now because it's such a good time to sell. There will be better times to buy. So when we come back, we'll talk about the benefits of using Redfin and their agents to sell your property. Will make you smarter than everyone else. It's all guaranteed. Stick around.
Welcome back to the Real Estate Debate with Mr. Credit on AM 760 KFMB.
All right. Thanks for jamming out with us on your Sunday afternoon. Mr. Credit here. You're listening to the Real Estate Debate. Of course, today it's the Redfin Roundtable. Co-hosting with me today is Dale Interkin, my good buddy with Synergy One Lending and Home Lending San Diego.com. We have 3 agents from Redfin.com in the studio with us today. Charlie Baker is here, Cherie Bray, and Rachel Gardner. What we'd really like to do for the next 10 minutes or so is talk about the benefits that people get when they list their home with Redfin.com. Now, what I said earlier about, the idea of someone, if you wanted to sell and buy, but you couldn't find anything to buy, so you're waiting to sell, you don't have to do it that way. You could sell your home and then go rent for a year or two, or even less time than that. And I do think that makes sense right now. In fact, I advised someone to do that very recently. So if you have a comment on that, please give us that as well. But there are so many benefits to using Redfin to list your property that I think we should go through those too. So Cherie, can we start with you?
Things that Redfin has to offer would be one of the coolest features as a listing product is our seller dashboard. So what that is when you list with Redfin, you sign the contract, you get an invite to this back-end deal room that nobody else gets to see except for you and your agent. And one thing that Redfin believes in is being transparent with their clients. We want you to know what we're doing at all times to help you sell your house. So that's something that traditional agents don't have to offer their clients. They just don't have the technology to back them up. So our seller dashboard, it shows how many homes, how many people have viewed your home, how many people have viewed it in the last 24 hours. It shows how many people have favored it. If we have an upcoming open house, it shows how your listing's performing on the market. It shows all the different things that we're doing to market your home. It shows any kind of upcoming events that we have. We scheduled an attended showing tomorrow. We had an attended showing yesterday. The flyers were delivered. The lockboxes dropped off. It has events for sellers to do, to schedule their termite, to fill out their disclosures. Then it also shows any kind of active, pending, sold comps, all in one place. It's a one-place shop to see everything that's going on with your home so that you're not left wondering what your home is doing while it's being sold. So
almost like an analytics breakdown.
My engineer clients just eat it up. I mean, they favorite that page. That goes on to their favorite bar at the top of their page. So
I can understand that because if you're listing your home for sale, you want to know what's happening with it, right? But in the traditional sense, it may be difficult to know because there aren't necessarily analytics built in for every real estate brokerage out there, right? So
you have to base it off of who's actually coming to your property.
Yeah.
Off of it, and that's the only way to know if you price it right.
And you just wait for your agent to give you feedback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all you get. So with this dashboard, you get up-to-date information. It's updated every 15 minutes. I mean, it's very accurate, very current, and it's a neat tool that we offer our exclusive Redfin listing clients.
Can you see like pictures of your home on there and stuff too? Like
there's a link to your Redfin listing, so
Yeah.
you can go and look at it on Redfin. So yeah, it does have the photos.
Yeah, because you can see normally when like somebody gets their home listed, you've seen it in the MLS where the pictures just look atrocious, right? You can't see it, so you don't have that much information. But the seller may not even know, so they don't know what it looks like. So having access to your home and your listing and seeing what it looks like is
yeah. We want our
a big
sellers
benefit.
to have everything.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. Charlie, what do you think? Benefits listing your home with Redfin.com.
We have one of the coolest tools out there right now. It's called the 3D walkthrough, the Redfin 3D walkthrough, and it's something that I think is unique to Redfin. I don't know that anyone else has this, but what we do is we have this really high-tech camera that we bring into your house. We set it up in each room and in different areas of the rooms. It sits on a tripod, and it spins around 360 degrees. It scans each room, each hallway, the staircase, and then they put it all together with this high-tech system, and then it posts on the website. So it's actually not just a virtual walkthrough like you're used to seeing, where they have a still photo and you pan in and pan out with music. This is an actual walkthrough. If you're a buyer, you can go online and you can actually go room to room and see how the flow of the floor plan is. You get a great idea of what you're going to be looking at before you even go.
It's like a Google Street View type deal, right? You like click on the next dot and you walk in that direction. You're gonna look in the closet, and like
Exactly.
You can look up at the ceiling, down at the floor, spin around in circles.
Yeah, it's so cool. In fact, I've had some buyer's agents who have told me they generated a showing because their client was on Redfin.com and they were able to see this walkthrough, and they said, "Oh, we absolutely have to go see this one. The family room, the great room. It's just how we wanted it." So we're generating showings off of it. The sellers love it. It's a cool tool.
Yeah, and that doesn't cost any extra money for the sellers, does it?
It's all included.
It's included.
Yeah.
In the whole shebang. Now I've seen this camera. Have you seen this camera yet?
I haven't.
Caleb?
I haven't.
It looks like R2D2. Okay, the thing is, there's probably 12 camera lenses actually on
Probably
it.
like 30.
Yeah, maybe more than that. Maybe 20
There's
or
a
30.
lot.
There's a
Yeah.
ton of cameras on this thing, and it really looks like something from Star Wars or Star Trek:
Yeah,
The Next Generation. And and so this thing that you set it in there, and it does take several hours. So you guys spend a lot of time, providing that. It's not like you just set it in there like a Rumba, and it just walks around, or whatever.
Does it do that too?
It also vacuums while it's in the pictures. Someone has to go and has to do that. So you guys are actually spending real time in the house going and setting that camera up so that those buyers can see and have that experience of being able to actually walk through the house online at midnight or 1 a.m.
There's clients that are moving from other cities, other states,
Totally.
and they need to be able to see a home, and it may be a hot property, and they don't have time to go through it.
Right.
And so that's a huge benefit. I have a client right now moving from North Carolina here and needs to buy a house without seeing it.
Man, I hope I never have to do that.
So that would be an awesome tool for her.
Tell
If she
them
was finding.
check out the Redfin listings,
Yeah.
redfin.com. Pretty simple to find them. Rachel, what do you think benefits for listing your home for sale with redfin.com?
Well, we have several. One in particular, we have a home value tool where you can actually go in and hand select comparable homes to yours. Most of the home value tools out on the internet just kind of take a general, number that they crunch. They don't take into consideration, what type of a lot it's on, if you have an ocean view, granite countertops, lack thereof. So you know your home better than most, and it's a good way to kind of gauge where your home is in the market as opposed to your neighbors. As we
Or
all
that
know,
Z
it's,
word that we don't talk about.
Yeah, I was just about to say that word.
It's a curse word.
Yeah, it is. It's like a 12-letter curse word. Well, what's interesting too, and I do this all the time because I just do comp searches on Redfin.com. I use the app on my iPhone mostly, but you go in and you can just set up your search filters for sold properties instead of for sale properties. So look at sold properties. Do the square footage range around your square footage and all that stuff, bedrooms, bathrooms. And then you can do a 12-month search and boom, you can pull the comps right there. Hey,
Right.
here's what's sold.
right. I mean, you obviously want to hire a real estate
Totally.
agent to get a better idea of the value because the market is constantly shifting. But it is a good idea to get a good idea.
It's nice because at least gives you something. It gives you some kind of idea of, hey, this is what has actually sold.
Yeah.
These are the houses in our neighborhood that have sold.
Because it's important that you're realistic when listing your home on the market.
Exactly.
Those are the homes that sell fast and with the most offers.
Yeah, you don't want to be like some of these sellers that are out there right now.
Sitting.
I don't have any names to name.
Me neither.
But I can tell you that there are properties on the market right now that have just been
Languishing.
Yeah. Dude, what are you
That's a
doing?
nice word for it.
It's one thing to get a little bit ahead of the comps. It's another thing to be uninformed seller.
Yeah.
Okay. And to just be out there throwing a Hail Mary. Now, I get it. If you're one of those people who's like, well, if they pay me this much, I'd move, but otherwise we're staying put. Okay.
Those are the kind of listings that you guys love, right? Those are the best
There are
listings.
those sellers out there.
Right?
Yes, there are.
What do you do with that conversation, Cherie?
Oh, man.
I know exactly who you should talk to.
Oh, man. I just had one of those recently. I won't say too much more than that. But it's tough. It's tough because we're hired to be advisors for our clients. And sometimes people think that they know more than we do. And at Redfin, we do a lot of transactions. We aren't just an agent that does the typical 3 to 6 deals a year. We're closing multiple a month. I think the last couple months I've closed eight or 9 deals each month. So we're very alive in this market and really seeing what's going on. So it's tough when our clients don't want to listen to us. Sometimes.
It's the double-edged sword because you have so much information available to them.
Yeah.
That of course they're going to access it, or they should. I mean, anyone can go on Redfin.com and you can set up an account. I don't think you even need an account to browse properties, but you can set up an account with your Facebook login, which is what I did. Makes it super simple. You don't need to memorize a new password or anything like that. And then you can start favoriting properties and getting information emailed to you right away. It's really, really cool. All right, coming up, let's talk about some hot markets. Hot markets in San Diego, maybe even some cold ones. Stick around. We'll continue to make you smarter than everyone else right here at the Redfin Roundtable on AM 760 KFMB.
Welcome back to the Real Estate Debate with Mr. Credit on AM 760 KFMB.
All right, welcome back. Thank you for hanging out with us on your Sunday afternoon. Mr. Credit here, guaranteeing to make you smarter than everyone else. It's Redfin Roundtable Day. We have 3 agents from Redfin.com in the studio with us right now. Charlie Baker is here, Cherie Bray, and Rachel Gardner, my co-host. Dale Intrikin with Synergy One Lending is also in the studio with us. I think it's time to talk hot markets because it seems like the market as a whole here in San Diego, the real estate market is on fire. That's what it seems like. But there are definitely pockets that are hotter than others. Some of these areas it's just crazy. It's madness. And in some of the areas it's not as hot. Some of the areas it might even be what you would call cold. What I would say ice cold in some of the areas. But that's just my opinion. So let's talk hot markets. Cherie, let's start with you. What's a hot market right now in San Diego?
Well, I mainly work the coastal market, and some of that territory covers anywhere from down to the Bayho area up to Encinitas, and then along the 56 corridor. So some of the places that I've really been seeing heat up, Carmel Valleys, just it's always there. Something gets listed, it sells. Like it's just.
Why do you think that is? Because Carmel Valley seems to be one of the hottest markets in all of San Diego County right now. Just price point wise, I mean, we're talking, it's like 700, 800, 900, even low millions. For detached houses there, and it's on fire. Why is it?
I think the location.
Okay.
I mean, isn't that what they say? Location.
Yeah, that's true.
So yeah, it just seems, I don't know, they've got a lot of new construction going on there. The homes are newer.
Okay.
It's really coastal. It's very close to the Sereno Valley. The heart of a lot of Qualcomm, central working area. And then another area that I've really seen growing in the past year, maybe 2 years now, is Encinitas. Been a really desirable area for people to move from and to. I've got a client in Rancho Santa Fe right now that they're going to be listing their home to move to Encinitas.
Really?
They don't want to be in that atmosphere anymore, and it's really, really the atmosphere in Encinitas is really changing. I've heard that from multiple people that are migrating that way. So
Encinitas is one of my top picks right now of places for people to look at, not just because of the things that you say about most good desirable areas to live, like good schools, good community, all that, but value-wise, when we look at the real estate prices versus some of the places, let's talk about Carmel Valley, let's talk about Carlsbad, the next door neighbor at Encinitas, right? Those areas you're looking at for the same dollar for dollar. You go and look at what you can get in Encinitas, even go over into Liebenheim, and you can get equestrian properties, acreage, and stuff like that for like 1.2, 1.3 million. That's really, really cool. I mean, that's really cool that that's available in Encinitas. To be in Encinitas and to get that, because you can't get that in Carlsbad.
yeah.
It doesn't exist. You can't get that in Carmel Valley. It doesn't exist.
I think that's what people are looking for because it's not always the track home.
Right. Yeah.
Type of-
There's a little more style there. Yes, I agree with you. Charlie, hot markets for you.
4S Ranch. For those of you who don't know, 4S Ranch is a small sub-community of Rancho Bernardo. All the homes have been built within the last 10 years, and some of them are even newer than that. Has a great school district. It's Poway Unified Schools, all new schools. I'm seeing most homes sell within a week as long as they're priced reasonably well. So super hot market.
A week. So if that's the case, then if I go, well, it doesn't necessarily mean the houses that are on the market right now, but you said the reasonably priced homes go selling like a week. So I should see a lot of hot homes. Is that what you're telling me? If I go look on the Redfin app?
You should.
In 4S Ranch.
Yeah.
A lot of hot homes. So if you don't know, if you use redfin.com to look for real estate that's for sale, there's a little hot home icon that kind of hovers over the little house. And that is a conglomeration.
indicator.
Yeah, an indicator. There's statistics that are saying, hey, a lot of people are looking at this house. A lot of people are favoriting this house. This house is going to sell fast, okay, because there's just so many eyeballs on it. And the engineers at Redfin have that set up so that they basically can show that to you. So not just and anyone can see it. You just go on the website and you can see it. It's really cool. I actually like to do searches for hot homes if I'm looking at a market for the first time, because that kind of tells me, hey, this is what people in that area who are looking in that area want. This is what's desirable in that area. And you can kind of quickly say, all right, that's a great deal. It's just that
Another
simple.
really cool feature Redfin offers.
Love it. Okay, so 4S Ranch is
What's
on
the
fire.
low-end price range on Forest Ranch?
Good question.
Okay, so it depends on whether you're looking at attached or detached.
Yeah.
The attached, you're looking in the low fours, would you say, Sheree?
Yeah.
And then the homes go up as high as over $1 million,
yeah.
depending on the square footage.
Okay.
So
Yeah, that's another thing about Carmel Valley. They built a lot of big houses in Carmel Valley. They really did. There's a lot of square footage there. Am I wrong? Like a lot of the homes are 3,000-4,000 square feet.
Yeah, the price difference, probably Carmel Valley, you're looking more like 500 for an attached to, I don't know, 1.3, 1.4.
For the detached.
Yeah, I mean, just a range in general.
There's a
And
big
even-
range of move-up housing, though. I mean, you can start in entry level.
A lot of
move
new
up.
construction going
Yeah.
on out there, too. A lot of new construction. If you've been driving along the 56 at all.
Yeah, down past
Like
Uni,
right past Carmel
Or
Valley Road.
Cathedral. I still call it Uni.
Yeah.
Cathedral.
Canyon Crest, right after Canyon
Yeah.
Crest. Yeah.
Huh. Cool. Well, it's good to hear there's new construction because we obviously need the units.
Exactly.
Rachel, hot markets for you?
I would say Oceanside. I'm in North County primarily,
Okay.
and I'm seeing a lot more homes being listed there. And on the properties that we're listing, we're getting up to 13 offers, going really quick. I actually just had a hot home we listed at 540, and we're in escrow. I think we listed on Thursday, and we were in escrow by Monday at 625. So no appraisal
wow.
removed.
Okay. Atención. And here's the deal. Oceanside, the deals in Oceanside might be over.
You called that out at the
Right?
beginning of the year.
Right?
You called Oceanside out.
Oceanside is the one. That's the market. It's the
Well, the
I'm not saying it's
gentrification
too late.
going on.
Yeah, and I'm not saying it's too late, but I'm telling you, those deals you used to see in Oceanside are gone. You're not going to
Not
get
yet.
those condos for
Not yet.
$300,000 anymore. Yeah, you're not going to get them. I mean, it's so far away. Those 2-bedroom condos that had like peak ocean views are now 500. They're not 300 anymore.
Yeah,
You know what
that's true.
the sneaky one is like that is IB. It's the same way.
Yeah,
IB has always kind of flown under the radar, but they built up so much down there too. Same way.
yeah.
You get
Oceanside's
that.
got it
You
going
get.
on, man.
You can get condos across the street from the water. Still, like, not for $1 million
Yeah.
where you would anywhere else.
Right. Yeah.
So.
Well, and I like the Oceanside. I think is unique because it's got that kind of middle ground between Orange County and San Diego. So if you were, a lot of people do business in both areas or work for companies that do business in both
Or the
areas.
military,
Sales reps, or exactly, whatever it may be, who are want to be able to tap into both markets. You can do that if you live in Oceanside. And for some reason, that was just kind of lost for like 10 years. And then in the last couple of years, it's kind of been found, and we're seeing Oceanside catch fire. That said, the detached homes that aren't necessarily coastal, there's still some really, really good deals out there.
Yeah, I just sold a short sale, which we
Really?
never see those anymore, but I think we closed at 354.
How was that doing a short sale right now?
It was hard for my first time buyer
Yeah.
because she had to wait. She had to wait a really long time.
Oh, gosh.
But she got a phenomenal deal. So
Well, good for her. Bless her heart. First time buyer, we're going to get you into a short sale. I'm sorry, I know it's the one you love. Just hang in there, hang in there. There aren't too many of those around, right? I mean, you guys are taking listings. I mean, how many short sales are you seeing right now?
Not much.
Yeah.
Not on our end. The prices have just appreciated so much over the last 3 years that a lot of short sales have been weeded out.
So those are turned into
That
equity
was such a
sales.
big wave through the last, prior to about 2 years ago. Just everything was a short sale.
Yeah. Well,
And I think banks also have been more lenient on making those refinances work out, or those redoing their loan program for people so that they don't have to short sale.
yeah, they definitely were incentivized to do that. And in fact, I noticed that they continued those programs, the HAMP and HARP programs, on the federal side through 2016, which I
Oh,
thought
wow.
was interesting. But I think it's because the majority of the country hasn't caught up as quickly as San Diego has. I mean, it's really booming here right now. I mean, it's literally booming. A lot of the areas of the country, it's not booming like this. Not like this. There's recovery taking place, but it's much slower than it has been here. So I think we're all really lucky in that regard that we're living in San Diego talking about real estate on the radio. Right?
not complaining.
All right, yeah, exactly. All right, great stuff from our in-studio guests from Redfin.com. We have Charlie Baker, Cherie Bray, and Rachel Gardner in here. Coming up, boy, what should we talk about next? I think we have some stats we have to get to. We're going to make you smarter than everyone else. We're going to give you some information about how you can get better service and save yourself some money when listing your home for sale. Stick around.
Welcome back to the Real Estate Debate with Mr. Credit on AM 760 KFMB.
Couldn't be a better song to listen to on a Sunday afternoon. Roll down the windows. Let the sun shine through. Thanks for hanging out with us. We appreciate it. Mr. Credit here. Of course, the Real Estate Debate. We're bringing you the Redfin Roundtable today with my co-host Dale Intrikin from Synergy One Lending and HomeLendingSanDiego.com. We have 3 agents from Redfin.com, the listing team in here. Charlie Baker, Cherie Bray, and Rachel Gardner are with us. I just wanted to give you the chance to tell us some of the different things that people don't know about Redfin, because a lot of people know about the website, right? They know, hey, I can go here and I can look for homes. It's really cool. There's all these tools. It's so easy to favorite properties, get all the information I want about the homes that are for sale. But a lot of people still don't know that you're a full-service brokerage as well. So, Cherie, I'll start with you. Tell us something that you really like about being an agent for Redfin.
I've been with the company for 4 years now, so I've been here for a while. I've worked with a lot of different clients and different personality types, and I get asked that question very, very often
Really?
by my own clients. And I think one of the first responses that usually comes to mind is I like being able to be honest with my clients. You know, I'm not paid on a commission. I'm paid a salary, and then I'm incentivized by a bonus at the end of a transaction. So my job is to do a good job for my clients and to be honest, to be transparent. I was telling you guys earlier in the show that one of the tools that we offer is the seller dashboard, which makes it more transparent what we're doing to sell your home. Well, actually, what we do on a regular basis, we're honest with our clients. We're really trying to give you all of the information, and if it's good or it's bad, we're gonna put it out there for you. So that's probably one of my favorite things about working for the company.
How do people react to that when you have, let's say, because we've had Jordan Clark on the show a number of times, and he really enjoys that part of working for Redfin as well. He's been doing real estate for a long time too, and really loves the fact that he's incentivized fully to just be completely honest at all times. How do people react to that, though? Are they taken aback by that sometimes? Do they just really appreciate it?
I think when people first hear it, they don't really know how to take it, and maybe sometimes don't believe it because it's not traditionally known that that's how real estate is handled. I just met with a client yesterday at a consult, and we were going over how Redfin's different, and he's been out of the market. He's a big, huge builder guy, and built lots and lots of units in his years, and he retired in 2004, and he just hasn't done any real estate transactions since then. So when he heard how our business model worked, he was just, really? Like, you guys can really work like that? So it's a different concept, which I think it's cool. It's cool to see people's reaction when I tell them.
It is,
how we
because
work.
you don't get that really in any industry, right? I mean, even if you go to buy slacks somewhere, I mean, it's very rare that someone is just totally honest with you. Although it does happen, and when it does, usually, I mean, I really appreciate it. Like, if I'm at Best Buy, and they're like, if you go to Radio Shack, they have these things. Like, when that happens, which is rare, it's like, wow, thank you so much. I'm sorry, I'm not giving you guys any business, but thank you. And I don't know how to, how to really, I guess I need to buy something on the way out and grab some memory
Well,
cards.
it's a little more weird when it happens in a restaurant, when somebody tells you, you should go get food somewhere else.
Yeah. And the Chinese chicken isn't good here.
That honesty is really appreciated.
If you get a server who tells you, what do you like? I kind of like everything. What do you not like? Let's start there. If you can get that honesty, you've done well. In real estate, it's kind of unheard of. That's the thing. So it's really interesting that Redfin can position you guys to be in that spot for your clients. Really cool. Charlie, what's your favorite thing about being an agent with Redfin?
I love the service aspect, what we can offer the client. What's really cool about Redfin is that as a listing specialist, that's all I focus on. And it's the same thing with Cherie and Rachel. We just work with sellers. So that allows us to have this laser focus on just the listing side of the business. What does a traditional real estate agent do? They work with some sellers, but they're mainly working with buyers, and buyers take up a ton of time. And so, they're pulled in a lot of different directions. But with Redfin, it allows us to really zero in on what we're supposed to do, which is get that home sold and do a great job doing it. So when you list with us, you're getting 100% of us on your home.
So focus, basically, being able to laser focus on your specific task at hand.
Well, and we specialize, like you're talking to the listings team here. So we specialize in listing property. That's what we do. We're not working with buyers on a regular basis. So the marketing, the negotiating, the contracts, all the side that a seller needs to sell their home, that's what we eat, breathe, and live every day. I mean, this is our gig, I guess.
Right.
This is our side of the.
And you also kind of specialize in different areas too, right? So it's not just listing homes all over San Diego County, although I'm sure you have to take listings in different places at different times for different reasons. But you also have certain areas that you try to focus on and become experts in too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So, for instance, I'm in the inland area, the I-15 corridor. So most of my listings are in Escondido, Rancho Bernardo, Poway. So you get to know those areas really well. And they become kind of like your backyard. So you're going in, you're able to assess a home, its neighborhood. You can provide great information on pricing, which we all know is key,
Crucial.
even in a market that's appreciating. So really you're getting someone who, with Redfin, that knows the area, who's working with a lot of people, helping a lot of people sell. You're getting a great value, and the results are better.
Yeah. Yep. And we have actually some data on that. Which is really interesting. Basically, that Redfin listings sell for more money is what the data is. So we haven't touched on this amazingly, but it actually costs less money to list your home with Redfin too, right? So it's 1.5%.
1.5%.
1.5% to list your home with Redfin, which is less. Typically, it's 3%, right? Or maybe you work a deal 2.5%, but 1.5%. So you're saving, some money right there. But then also the data shows that the Redfin listings sell for more. And in fact, the data that's been accumulated by Redfin shows that in San Diego, you actually make on average $15,000 net more per transaction by listing your home with Redfin, because you have a sales price performance advantage, which is getting more for the house. And then you also have a commission savings on average, which is almost $8,000. You add those up, you get over $15,000 net money in your pocket.
Yep, you're saving on that commission paid, and then you're also getting more money based on your sales price.
Right.
Is what our statistics are showing based on our marketing and our advertising and all of the different things that we do for our Redfin listings. You look at a lot of photos are key, right? Photos are what's going to sell your property. Redfin believes in the high quality images. I mean, so many different things that we take into consideration for selling a home, and those are the things that help sell these homes for quicker and for more money.
Right.
And so those are things that we invest in for our Redfin listings.
Do they have like a team that goes out and takes photos?
Yeah, we have a professional photographer that we pay that goes out and does all of our photo shoots.
How about that, Dale? $15,000 on average.
Well, if you're buying a home with it too, on the like after you sell yours and you're buying a new one and you use them
more.
too, they save more. I saw that on your website as well.
That's true.
And it's not taxable as income.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, shouldn't be, right? Because
No, it's probably being credited to your closing costs or something, correct? Right?
No, you get a check after closing.
Oh, you
too.
do?
you get a check.
Yeah,
wow.
it is tax
Or
free.
you can donate to charity.
Yeah.
You can. I did have one client do that one time.
That's
they
cool.
donated it to charity. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really? That's
I'd love to hear
that would be very unique.
Yeah, I would love
Yeah.
to see that. That's great. So on average, you just walk away with more money in your pocket. So that's pretty cool stuff. Rachel, what's your favorite part?
My favorite part would be, well, I would say it's, due to the fact that they've created this state-of-the-art website, redfin.com. The technology in itself allows for us to be really effective in what we do, and it does allow us to sell more homes. On average, a Redfin agent sells about 4 to 5 homes a month. So, with no two transactions being alike, I think that type of representation to me is invaluable. I mean, in those purchase contracts, a million shades of gray come up. And so it's really nice to know that I can, do an amazing job at representing my clients.
Do you think the experience of doing more transactions is part of the value then? That someone
Exactly.
gets?
I think it's invaluable.
Yeah, I have to agree. I mean, I tell you, what's very interesting to me is that using the website, so user-friendly, so easy to find properties, and while that, for the most part, that is something that buyers would do. Buyers are typically the ones who are looking at properties on there. I think people who are looking to list their home should be doing the same thing. Frankly, it's a good way to just kind of keep up with what's going on with the market. Even if you're a year out, you can go and you can start doing research and start favoriting homes and start getting, notifications automatically. Hey, this one sold for this. This one just went pending, so on and so forth. This one's off the market. This one's back on the market. You get all that stuff. So you can get so much information from the websites, from the technology, but then to also be able to piggyback the expertise that the agents get from the fruits of that technology is it's almost like an exponential situation. It's like a nonlinear situation where you get all of this stuff, and you don't have to do anything for it. That's what's crazy. It seems like we're selling something here that's more expensive, right? It's like we're selling a Mercedes. Like, yeah, it's got all this, it's got that, it's got that, it's got that, and that's why it costs more.
Well,
But that's not what we're doing.
On that, no matter what, you should be checking up on you should be researching your agent. No matter what company you go with, you want to know how many deals have they done? What are their customer experiences? It's nice to read reviews and know that other people have had good experience, even if they're not a Redfin agent. I really encourage people to do that research, because once you're in a contract, that is a written binding agreement, and you're married to that person for the next 2 or 3
days.
months, depending on once you're in a contract, maybe even 6 months. But it's key, and Redfin publishes all of our surveys, whether they're good or they're bad. So that's another neat thing that you can do as far as researching the agent that you want to work with.
Well, one of the things I liked is that they don't get paid based on that deal. I mean, you get paid on a deal when you get your survey afterwards.
Your
But
bonus.
you get a bonus out, but you don't get paid on that house. So it's not like somebody's trying to sell you every time you see a house with
We want
them
you to buy the
as a
right
buyer.
one, not
Yeah. You go in and they're like, "This is great," and you're like, "I don't really like it. Yeah, it stinks. Let's move on to the next one."
Yeah.
And they're constantly trying to sell you. The houses do that on their own.
Yeah.
I think of it more as educating your client rather than selling.
Yeah, well, that's how you're going to get the good review, right? Which is what you want to get. You want to get great reviews. I can tell you the reviews are legit, because if Jordan can have a bad review, like the nicest guy, right? Remember we talked about this last time? I don't remember if you were here or not. Charlie, I think, or
No,
maybe Cherie was here.
I've got a stinker on mine too.
I got my first. I just got my first one. It hurts.
So
It does hurt.
It,
Yeah.
it happens, right? And so it makes it real, because a lot of times, like, people will go amazingly. People will go on Yelp, they'll search for agents there, which I can't believe people search for agents on Yelp, but they do. And so they go there and then see, like, oh, this guy has all these great reviews, but Yelp isn't exactly transparent in the regard that we're talking about here. So it is good to research your agent, look at people that they've talked to, or if you know someone who is referring you to someone, that's different. With Redfin, you can just go right to the website. You can look up all the reviews of all the agents there, and do all of your research for the properties that you want to buy or sell there as well. And we're out of time. Sucks. We could have talked for many more hours, I'm sure. I want to say thank you to Cherie Bray, Charlie Baker, Rachel Gardner. Thank you so much for being here today from Redfin.com. And, of course, my co-host, Dale Intrican from Synergy One Lending and HomeLendingSanDiego.com. That's it for this edition of the Redfin Roundtable. Stick around for next month, as we'll be doing the same thing and more Talking Money with Mr. C right here on AM 760 KFMB when we come back.